What's up? My name is Jeanette, also known as Misfit Vegan, and today we're talking about sugar, boo. We're talking about sugar. I got some great questions from my friend, Professor Spira, who is the author of the annotated version of the Mucusless Diet Healing System, a book that changed my life. This book is truly my Bible. And so I'm really excited to have him here. Sorry, I had some internet connections. I had to go off and come back on. We're going to talk about sugar. I got a lot of questions for him. And if you have any questions about sugar, about fruit having too much sugar, or the difference between processed sugar and fruit sugar, or anything at all, we got some great questions already from my stories. So thank you for that. Put them in the question box below with that question mark. We're going to talk about why sugar is so good for you. And listen to this. This is really crazy. Grapes are actually perfect. Barbie, thank you for coming back, Barbie. I appreciate your ass. Grapes are actually the perfect human food because they have no protein, they have no fat, they only have sugar. We're going to break it down today and talk about why society has been lied to. How is this possible that we have been told that we need to eat a balanced diet? The macros, the protein, the fat, the carbohydrates, we have to have a balance of it. No, we don't. It's crazy. I went to school for nutrition, but I learned more from this book than I learned from getting my degree in nutrition. I didn't learn anything that I'm using today. It's crazy how many lies we are believing. It's crazy how many lies they are telling about sugar specifically, about fruit, about what we need to eat as humans. And it's hard to know the truth. So that's why I like to interview experts like Professor Spira, who is going to be joining me soon. And so I want to say thank you so much to everyone who is here. How's everybody doing today? How's my sound? How's my connection? Is everything good? What do you guys think? Who here knows the truth about sugar? By the way, I used to do this for years. You guys are going to think I'm crazy, but I used to take grapes, bite them, and then just go like this on my skin. Because I had really bad acne, and in the beginning of my journey, I used fruit to heal my skin, inside and out. I know that's crazy. I know. But I would just rub it on my skin, and then I'm going to eat it. What's up, Tessa Boo? We're going to learn some things today. So, where is my friend, Professor Spira? Let us see. So, what's the name of the book? Yeah, this book will change your life. This book is called The Professor Arnold Ehret's Mucusless Diet Healing System, annotated, revised, and edited by Professor Spira. One of the best books on nutrition in the entire world. Okay, so Arnold Ehret, big mentor of mine, and Professor Spira made it so that it's updated in updated English, right? Because the first one was written, I think 1910, but Spira's going to have to let me know the exact year. What's up, Spira? What's up, Matt? Okay, so Spira is here, so he going to let us know all the details we need to know. And we're going to talk about sugar today, guys. I already got some great questions from my story. Okay, I know Robin wants to know how sugar ages us. So I got a lot of questions, guys. All right, so let's bring Spira in and let's get started. Thank you for being here, everyone. Sent you a DM. Well, I can't check DMs right now, but thank you for the DM. Okay. Hey, Spira, what's up?
Hey, what is going on?
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for being here. It's been a minute. It's been a while since we spoke.
Yeah, yeah. Are you dry? How are things down there
Yeah.
in down there in Florida?
Yeah, that was intense. But lucky for me, I live on the East Coast and Ian went to the West Coast. So I got blessed, so blessed. I had some flooding, but that nothing like what other people are
Mm,
suffering from. There's a lot of people that are homeless right now. There's a lot of people
right.
I know some people that are homeless. It's crazy. So thank you for asking. Okay. So we're going to talk about the truth about sugar today. And I just want to start by saying, can you remind me what year was The Mucusless Diet written by Arnold Ehret?
So we have a circa. We only know about when. So about 1920. Some of the articles, you are correct. Some of the articles that found their way into the Mucusless Diet Healing System were written as early as 1910. Especially some of the fasting articles and sections, because the Mucusless Diet Healing System is essentially really kind of a compilation of articles and writings put together from over the years of Arnold Ehret. And so he had wrote and came out with Rational Fasting around 1910, and then continued to write. And the Mucusless Diet Healing System came out as a companion or a textbook for the course that he taught in person. So he taught essentially what people would call like a certification course, I guess today, but a hardcore course on the Mucusless Diet Healing System that was like $100 back then, which is like several $1,000s, now for his course. And so that's where. So around 1920, there's a 1922 edition that I found information about. And I believe I have the oldest version in existence left, unless somebody comes up and has. I have a 1924 second edition Mucusless Diet Healing System, and I've never heard of or even seen a picture of an older version than that.
And so when he started doing his course in person, that's when they killed him, right? Are we allowed to say that?
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I think we're allowed to say that. There's so many things we're not allowed to say on these platforms, or they take us down. But yeah, no, I mean, that's what definitely a lot of people very legitimately feel that. Yeah, he was taken out because of some of the things he was talking about. Helping way too many thousands of people were coming to his sanitariums, and he was putting them on a mucusless diet, fasting them, and they were curing their so-called incurable diseases. And so, yeah, I just I just think there was definitely foul play involved in that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, it doesn't even make sense, the story. But if you guys don't know the story, we'll talk about it later maybe. But I wanted to jump right into it because I think it was Arnold Ehret, and correct me if I'm wrong, that said that grapes were the perfect human food because they are all sugar. No protein or fat in grapes. Am
He
I
used
remembering this right?
the term grape sugar, and he really featured grapes as being one of the best fruits. But they used the word grape sugar, and it's a little more antiquated use of the word grape. They would say grape sugar instead of fruit sugar or fructose. And so when he is talking about grape sugar, that's pretty much synonymous for fruit sugar or fructose or simple sugar. But yeah, definitely highly features. What he said about, say, like dark grapes or blackberries or something like that, doesn't the juice of these berries resemble our blood? Just making a logical observation that anybody can make, to that this fruit blood that this fruit blood is more akin to our body than rotting flesh that has to be seasoned and cooked and that kind of thing. And so yeah, he was making that connection and really essentially saying that the most important substance for the human body is fruit sugar.
Yeah, somebody just asked, thank you for clarifying that. Okay, so somebody just asked, how do I get enough protein? Boo, we did a whole episode on that. Don't bring that. Don't do it. Today we're talking about sugar. Don't do it, Boo. Okay, let's get into it. I have a lot of questions for you, Spira. So,
Yeah.
first of all, because you're like a walking encyclopedia on everything health related, and so I wanted to get all my questions about sugar down because there's so many lies. And so first off, I want to start with, what role does sugar play in our health? Okay, because a lot of people think that sugar, whether it's from fruit or processed sugar, it ages us, it like It's not healthy in general. So what role does
Mm.
sugar play in our health?
So it's the substance that creates human blood that helps us to manufacture and create our blood. And here I'm gonna read. I said you were featuring the annotated Mucus diet. I'm gonna read this directly from Arnold Ehret, and he's talking about how albumin or protein, as your friend just said, how that is not important. So he says albumin or protein is not the most important substance for our blood, nor is it the mineral salts alone that build perfect blood. So when he's talking about mineral salts, that he could just be as easily be saying vegetables. So protein and vegetable matter is not the most important thing to build blood. The cardinal standard substance for human blood is the highest developed form of carbohydrate, chemically called sugar stuff, grape or fruit sugar, as contained more or less in all ripe fruits, and in the next lower state in vegetables. The newer advanced science teaches that even the small amount of protein that is necessary is developed from grape sugar. Vegetable eating animals transform these foods first into grape sugar and then, as matter of fact, the body in its entirety. So for Professor Arnold Ehret, the foundation of human life, human nutrition, is fruit sugar. And of course, there's so many people today that promote the exact opposite of that. This keto nonsense, this all these things where first of all there is it's just the way that entire discussion is put out there is incredibly problematic. There's a difference between simple sugar and complex carbohydrates. That's usually not featured when people are just saying, stay away from sugar, the dangers of sugar. And I'm looking at an article right here that's on the Harvard Health Publishing, where it's called The Sweet Danger of Sugar. And it's just, when you read this article, just the way that they go about explaining the problematic nature of sugar is itself very problematic, where there is a huge difference between simple sugar and complex sugar. So yes, the complex carbohydrates can be problematic. There's a lot of that stuff that you want to avoid. You don't want processed sugar, the so-called high fructose corn syrup. That's not fructose. That's not simple sugars from ripe, raw fruit. And but yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll we'll keep getting into that.
Yeah.
These myths, these problematic concepts that they've just been putting out there that really harm a lot of people. There was another quote, real quick. I'll go ahead and get this in there. So along those lines, where they historically have told people with diabetes and certain sugar metabolism issues, which can be dealt with over here, which is, talk about that maybe in a little bit. But Ehret says that should sugar or albumin be found in the urine, the case is called very serious and diagnosed as diabetes or Bright's disease, respectively. This is a little old school here, but the principles are still intact. Under medical treatment, the patient in the first named case dies through sugar starvation, caused through a lack of sugar and sugar formers in the diet. In the latter diagnosis, the patient dies from forced albumin replacement, or being forced fed protein, resulting from overfeeding of foods rich in albumin. So these are some simple things, and I know that some people would say, well, I know so-and-so, and he eats nothing but meat, and they're good, and they're healthy, and it's like, first and foremost, our body is an air gas engine. So when you understand that, because the air gas engine principle is over and above everything. And so, that's why there's people that exist that eat nothing but potato chips and they don't die immediately, because we're still, they're being stimulated enough by the complex carbs and that mess and the stuff. But that's not a longevity proposition. That's not something that they're generally, a lot of those people have all kinds of number of issues at some point, sooner or later. So, so this idea of just because humans can do something does not mean that they should, because we've had this ability as a survival mechanism to essentially adapt, and the body really tries to adapt to poisonous situations as much as possible, but it can only do so much. And it leaves us with this low standard of life that we're in, and these shortened lives, and all these chronic diseases that have never been observed before in human history or animal history. And that's all because of getting away from these principles that we're talking about here, getting away from the human diet, which is fruit.
Yeah, I mean, you just said so many truths, honestly, that I want to unpack, but it's really, truly a great testament to the human body, what people eat and still can survive. I love it, Spira, because it shows me how powerful we are. And if we only simply eat what we're supposed to eat, what is possible for our bodies and minds and spirits. And yeah, I love that you brought up the air gas concept, because if people are watching this and they don't know, this is what I learned from Professor Spira, which is we don't need to eat for nutrition. And Spira, like, this is like one of the biggest hidden truths. Can you talk a little bit about why we don't really need to eat for nutrition? We need to eat for cleanliness, because of the air because we're running on air, right?
Right. Yeah. And that's a great question, and that's a huge thing to understand. And it's a total 180-degree away from the standard ways of thinking about how the human body operates and nutrition concepts and all this kind of stuff. So Arnold Ehret says that the body is an air gas engine, and the foundation of human illness is the constipation of this engine, where the whole body can be viewed as a piping system from the nerves and the digestive tract and the blood vessels and veins. It's all pipes. And when any of those pipes start to become clogged up or constipated for whatever reason, and the reason is uneliminated unnatural food substances generally, but anytime we get clogged up, you're losing vitality. You're losing part of the body trying to deal with that, causes premature aging, causes any number of diseases that they've put names to, when all they really have to call them is constipation. And but the key to life is, well, what if you don't have that constipation in your body? What if you're able to remove all of that constipation? So removing the clogged up system, you get to a point where, as we call it, vitality equals power minus obstruction, meaning you remove the obstruction, the power is already there because the body is a perpetual motion air gas engine. For folks, anybody that studied the concept of perpetual motion engine, this philosophical idea that there could be and exist an engine that would not wear down and that could perpetually move forward if there was no obstructions involved. And essentially the theory that Ehret puts forth is that the human is a perpetual motion air gas engine that only degenerates and loses its elasticity, ages prematurely, because we are eating the wrong foods, putting chemicals all over our body and in our air, and breathing in mess, and all these problems cause the issues that we're in. But if we were intelligent and we were really, if it's like the same emphasis that people put on this protein stuff, all of that kind of energy needs to be in breathing. Like literally the focus of breathing, all this energy that people put on. You got to have a big breakfast to start your day, the most important meal of the day. The most important meal of the day is that first breath that you consciously breathe in as you wake up. But that's the consciousness, but we're so far away from that because people are still, I mean, when you're in a reality where people are still eating bacon and eggs, it's like, there's not a lot you can, that's a hard, a hard gap to film from
It's
there.
almost like a comedy show, Spirit. And I love you and your channel and everything you do because you see it as comedy. You're just like, this can't be real. Oh wait, it is
Yeah,
real? Like, is this real? Um,
right.
okay, so yeah, the formula V equals P minus O. Guys, they teach us all the algebra formulas in school. Yeah, you don't, yeah, no. There's a reason why this is hidden. This is hidden because it's a system that needs to keep running. And if we know the truth, then it won't run the way it's running. So thank you, Spirit, for everything you do and everyone that's here. And we do have a lot of questions. So thank you guys for your patience. I will get to the questions, but I have my own first. So I wanted to talk about is it possible, because as we just spoke about, we really run on air, but that doesn't mean we can all be breath breatharians.
Hmm.
We can't.
So, well, there are a couple. There's different pronunciations. Breatharian.
Breatharian.
Some people say breatharian, which I don't really like. I like breatharian if we're going to use that word.
Yeah, so this is where people get tripped up because they start searching for the truth and then they find the book, which is like one of the best books. Guys, you have to get this book if you don't have it. This taught me, this is my Bible. This is many people's Bible that are looking for the truth, which is not so easy to find these days, you know? And so, because the truth is very dangerous, because when you start knowing the truth, you take control of your life, and they don't want that. That's the most
Right.
dangerous thing. So now, what I wanted to know, is it possible to have too much fruit sugar? Because as we just discussed, you don't really, the focus shouldn't be on the food, but yet in this day and age when we have had so much health issues in our ancestry, right? People have been living wrongly for so many years. It's hard to go straight to not eating at all, like that's not really.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the question I wanted to ask really is, first of all, I want to know, is it possible to have too much fruit sugar?
So it depends on it really depends on the person and their body and how compromised their endocrine system is. So when you have people, and this is something that I acknowledge and I empathize with and understand, where some folks that promote fruit only and all this kind of stuff, they just sort of brush these people off. It's a real thing for folks. If you have weak adrenal system, weak adrenal glands, you have some compromised thyroid and issues along those natures, it's possible to eat fruit, raw fruit, and get lightheaded, get brain fog, have these kind of symptoms. And then people want to blame the fruit. Well, it's not the fruit's fault, unless it's like really unripe and just horrible crap fruit. It's not the fruit's fault. We have to take a look at your adrenal glands, thyroid, your entire endocrine system. Because when we talk, I like to use the term sugar metabolism issues or problem properly processing fructose, and as opposed to, or just sugars in general, as opposed to where, the D word and, these different disease-based concepts that really essentially, for the person that they're given to, they feel as if they're going to have it the rest of their life and say, well, this is incurable. You have this. And when it's really, well, what are your symptoms? And then based on your symptoms, we can, that this is, now we're just talking naturopathy, how you heal yourself from some of these issues. And it does take time. But yeah, so it depends on the person as far, because you don't want to, there is a point where your body has gotten is what it needs from whatever it is you're putting in, whether it's fruit or vegetables or whatever. So obviously, again, back to the principle of vitality equals power minus obstruction. So there's a point when you're putting all this fruit in and the body's like, okay, thank you, good. Like, you're like, stop, because now you're creating more unnecessary obstruction, even though it's mucus free. The body just doesn't need anymore. And so, you always want to be conscious of that. I'm not one of these. I know there's some people that promote eating because they're coming from the calorie theory, and so they want to stuff your body with fruit, and it's like, just eat as much as you need.
Yeah, I
Like,
get this question a lot, Spira. People always want to know, is it possible to eat too much fruit? And it's like the answer's in the question. Yes, it's too much. If it's too much, it's too much. So thank you for clarifying that.
yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask some of the questions from the audience. Thank you guys for being here. First of all, Tessa, that's my boo. Thank you, Tessa, for being here. She's amazing. Should we be eating the seeds that are found in grapes? Well, first of all, if you find seeded grapes, wow. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Spira, should we be eating the seeds?
So for me, I'm kind of agnostic on it because I'm not a somebody like you better eat the seeds and there because that's sometimes a nutrition concept too.
Yeah.
I'm not a big seed eater unless they're like the little seeds or the little soft seeds. I don't like to swallow any like hard seed, even if it's small. I'm just not a big seed eating person out of the fruit, because then you got like you don't want to eat a bunch of apple seeds. I mean, I did that when I was growing up, but it's like, you don't really need that. And orange, I definitely wouldn't swallow orange seeds because those can be real sharp and some of them are huge, and that can like that's not good, and your throat gets caught with something. So yeah, so if you like it, because I know some people, especially with things like Concord grapes, I do have some grapes finally that have seeds that we get this time of year. We get Concord grapes here. I don't know if they go as far south down there. You guys have them around in Florida, but because they grow them up in like Michigan and up in this way, and it's just basically available for 2 months. And so those, but some people like to swallow those seeds or even chew them up and swallow them, and I personally don't. I just sort of discard them or put them outside. But yeah.
Yeah, I've been eating a lot of muscadine grapes. Oh my gosh, they're from
Mm,
Georgia. They don't grow, yeah,
yeah.
they don't grow down here. It's too tropical, but oh my gosh, these are, if you see muscadine grapes, but I don't eat the seeds either or the skin
Mm.
personally. Okay, question. How important is variety? And I know this doesn't have to do with sugar, but I'm really curious about because there's so many conflicting opinions in the healthy vegan raw food diet. And they talk about variety. A lot of people talking about
Mm.
variety, and I'm just curious, what is your opinion, and do you eat for variety? Is that very important to you?
No. Yeah, no. My thing with variety is if you have a short attention span and you're the type of person that needs to change things all the time, you can do that and be within the context of the methods of the mucusless diet healing system, because there are way more fruits and vegetables in existence. There are different types of meat, because I hear that some meat eaters like, don't you get tired of fruits and vegetables? It's like most of the fruits in existence I've never eaten. I've never tried.
Don't they get
So
tired of the same three animals?
the same three animals,
Yeah.
it's like, well, they got different seasoning. We cook them different. It's like, well, and so, yeah, no, there's such a diversity of fruits and vegetables, and I enjoy exploring them for the reason of finding things that eliminate in different ways. And, I'll find certain tools that's like, oh, wow, this eliminates really well under a certain circumstance. And so I'll just keep that knowledge. And then when I'm going through something, I'll be like, let me go get this. And so in terms of needing variety, I just don't believe in that concept that, if when people get to the point where they're able to just use one or two or just a couple things, and they've gotten over the short-term type of kind of wanting to have something new all the time, the novel kind of stuff. Once you get to that level, then yeah, there's nothing wrong with just having, as Eric says, something that's in season. Ripe for the best food is ripe fruits that are in season and wherever you're at. So around here, there's a lot of apples right now. So I do roughly kind of go with whatever the season is, and those fresh fruits come out, then I eat those. Berries right now are really good. The apples where I'm at. And then I just kind of wait until in a couple months we'll be getting, I think we get some of the, is it California oranges or Florida? But we start getting oranges like in January that are really good. And so I just kind of I just wait until the fruit's good and use
Yeah.
that, whatever's available.
I hope you guys caught. Thank you, everyone who's here. Thank you, Becky, for buying a badge. If you have a question, let us know. I'll definitely ask Spira. Thank you so much for that, Becky. And I wanted to make sure everybody caught that, what you said. Professor Spira eats according to how well it eliminates. That's it. If you learn one thing today, if you get one thing from this video, that's it. That's the secret. Eat according to how well it eliminates. That's why peanut butter and jelly sandwiches aren't healthy, even though they're vegan. They don't
Right.
eliminate properly. Okay, let's get back to fruit. So, fruit 101. Let me make sure and answer all the questions people asked. Okay, question is, how does sugar age you? Robin wants to know, how does sugar age you? Hmm.
Well, simple sugars don't, as far as I could tell. There's no premature aging there. If anything, they slow down the aging process. Particularly, now you can't just eat fruit, but you're eating a whole bunch of other terrible foods and bad mixtures, and then expect to have those kind of results where you slow down the aging process and remove ailments and illnesses and have less congestion and all that kind of stuff. You got to be on the system, is what I recommend, mucus diet healing system, transitioning away from the mucus forming foods and allowing yourself to go, as we touched on a little earlier. It's encouraged to practice the transition diet. That's one thing that I really try to champion. Is this is not about eating nothing but fruit overnight, or even being doing where you're able to do fruit meals or that kind of stuff. Use the methods of the transition diet, and then you're going to get there. But now, if you want to talk about complex carbohydrates, then yeah, those are going to speed up the aging process, because just the nature of them, and a lot of them also inspire people to overeat all the starchy foods and that kind of stuff, and that causes obstruction. Then it's just systemic. Your lymphatic system is slowing down. You got different acidosis problems in your gut, and it's just like one by one, and it happens over time. And that's why people don't, until it's too late, they think they're fine. They're like, well, I eat healthy. I have vegetables. I had French fries today, that kind of thing. And then down the road, they're wondering why, again, the aging's going faster, then they get a colon cancer diagnosis, and then it's all over at that point.
Only in a sick, twisted society would French fries be considered a vegetable. That's number one. Or something healthier, right? Because if you go to McDonald's and like your friends eat the chicken nuggets, but you get French fries, perhaps maybe that's considered healthier. I don't know. I don't know what people are saying to themselves. But remember, humans can justify anything. And, I wanted to bring up earlier the whole we can eat anything. Doesn't mean we should. And you taught me a long time ago, it's what you don't eat that heals you. That's why, fruit is great. Vegetables great. All the transition foods are great, but that's not what's healing you. It's the body that's healing you. And I just wanted to quickly let everybody know that there was a guy, and I'm sure you know about this, there was a guy who ate a Cessna plane. You know this story? He ground up pieces he's in the Guinness Book of Records. You know about this guy? He died when
I don't know about him.
he was in his 50s. I can't recall his name, but he ground up an entire Cessna plane and he ate it every day. He ate the powder with water, and he got in the Guinness Book of Records, and he died at the age of 50 because he was eating all these weird things to get in the Guinness Book of Records. Okay, listen.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. But yeah, and there's always like a handful of those guys where I did a video years ago with this guy and he's still living, but man, he doesn't look too good. But he was drinking Elmer's glue, and I mean this guy does all this. He's got like a screw loose. He's just kind of out of it in his videos, but
yeah. I mean, so guys, we can eat anything, but does that mean we should? And are you going to live your best life possible? Because, we're only really guaranteed one. So
right.
Spirit, do you get so frustrated when people say like, I just let me live my life. I just get one life. Why can't I just eat whatever I want? But like, I see it, and I'm sure you see it the same way. It's like, you only get one life. So why would you disrespect your temple? Why would you want to be sick? And why would you want to just eat whatever you want? So what do you say to these people that say, like, it's not that serious. We're only here once. We should enjoy it while we're here.
Well, depending on who I'm talking to, there's any number of responses I have. One that I'm doing recently is do you want to spend the last 10 to 15 years of your life in a feces ridden nursing facility with terrible care and terrible food, and everybody forgot about you? They just tucked you away at this facility, and you're decrepit, you can't walk, you're stuck in a wheelchair, nobody cares about you. People stop calling you because they want to go on and have fun in their life. That's the reality for I would say the majority of elders in it's not supposed to be like that, but that's how they've developed our elder system. Our elders should be lifted up and put on a pedestal and taken care of, and have a system that really does take care of them, not just someplace to tuck them away to forget about them. But it is what it is. And people don't realize, I did a talk about this, is what I talked about this year at the Earth Day celebration. And one of the things that I revealed that I'll share with your community here, that people don't realize, and I actually didn't realize until I went through this with a family member of mine, which is, if you don't have enough money and it's more than you think you need, if you don't have enough money saved, and you're older and you find yourself in a situation where you need 24-hour care, the system is set up in such a way to essentially drain you of all your funds and your money, and get you to turn all of your assets over to the state. And because you have to essentially drain all your money, because did you know that it's at least $10,000 per month at a bad nursing home once your private pay and your insurance company doesn't set. So once you've drained all your money, and they have a 5-year, I mean, this is evil. They have a 5-year look back. If you try to sign your house over to your son or daughter or something, they can essentially come and say, well, no, we're sorry. If it's 5 years and you didn't know about this, and it would happen within 5 years, they can come and actually take the house from the family member, and it's an evil situation. Do you want that? All because you don't want to give up eating cheese and bacon? All right.
Pay now or pay later. Physically, mentally, emotionally, monetarily. Okay, it costs a little bit more. Sure, for sure, right? Because you could buy $1 hot dog, or these bag of grapes cost me $10, but you're gonna pay one day, maybe today, maybe in 10 years, maybe in 20 years. Wow, that was really powerful. I definitely didn't know those things. I do know that, my grandma, she's 99 years old, and we have her in a home, and it's not good. It's not a good situation, even though, she has money, and even though she's in a good home, it's terrible when I go there. They're not treating her right. They have her wearing a mask still. They have her wearing a mask for 2 years. Let's not even. We're doing good, Sarah. We're doing good.
Right.
Let's not even. Okay, let me continue with the questions that people have. But my grandma, 99 years old, is wearing a mask for over 2 years. Oh, and of course she, whatever. Okay, we're not going to say what they made her do. Is sugar acidic? Also, does sugar increase insulin sensitivity? Is sugar acidic? Also, does sugar increase insulin sensitivity?
Well, I mean, sugar itself, it's not acidic. It's alkaline, the fruit sugar. Now, when people say, well, what about acid fruits? And but Eric talks about this in the mucusless diet. So these acids are converted, because they're not battery acid. They're not high pH type of, the kind of acid that they give you intravenously and stuff. This is an acid that changes into an alkaline state. And one experiment that he mentions that just demonstrates this is you take something like a lemon, and if you heat a lemon up for just say 5 minutes in the oven or something, you just bake it and then you taste it, it's sweeter. The heat caused the lemon to get a little bit sweeter because that it broke down and processed those acids, and the body naturally does that for things that are acid fruits. It's not, it's just not the same thing. Now, the acidosis that we experience in our gut, that comes from either eating pus-forming foods or having the residues of these pus and mucus-forming foods just sit there in the colon and in the intestines year after year after year. That waste gets so toxic, gets really acidic, and then you start to have damaged cells throughout just wherever the body has to have it. The acid does what? Acid damages the cells. There's not fruit acid doesn't do that. Now you do want fruit to be ripe, because you can have some negative symptoms if you have a piece of fruit that's not really ripe and is kind of overly acidic. It's not pleasant. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but is it going to kill you? No. Is it the worst thing? No, it's not. You're going to be all right.
Yeah, well, personally, I'm at a point in my life that I'd rather fast than eat unripe fruit. I'm sure you as well, because I just,
Well, yeah, I don't.
The cleaner you eat,
but
the more sensitive you are, and I will definitely, feel it. I won't be at my optimal peak if I'm eating like unripe pineapple. I'll take one bite and immediately,
Yeah,
It's
just right. Yeah.
Okay, we got a lot of questions, but I wanted to address Zooland. Zooland Mondi, thank you for being here. They said it's an addiction. They'll be the first to admit that it's hard to give up the things we are addicted to, the foods, the processed foods. Of course, it's possible, and on the mucus-free path, they're on the mucus-free path, but the addiction is strong. Yeah, you're not alone. 99.99999% of people are addicted. We once were too. We weren't born, mucus-free. We weren't born living a mucus-free diet. And so the addiction is certainly real. And it's an addiction. There's no such thing as cravings. It's an addiction. And they've got you addicted. And you know what? The first step to change is acknowledgement. Acknowledging that you are addicted and you have the power to do something about it. And so I know you have this book, and I know you're on your path, and I appreciate you for being here, but I just wanted to acknowledge that it's real. Do you want to say anything? Well, we have so many questions for you, Spira. Wait, don't say nothing. Let me ask you a question. Okay, here we go. Is it good to eat a lot of beans during transitioning? Is it good to eat a lot of beans during transitioning?
Well, I don't know if I use the word good, but is it okay? Yeah, but not by themselves. Beans are because it's very that's that complex carbohydrate we're talking about. They're starchy. When they're cooked properly, they're not as starchy. But again, what we were talking about before, the name of the game, does it eliminate well? At the beginning of your transition, you could have some beans with a big salad, and it eliminates beautifully. As you start to move, clean yourself up and move down the path, you start noticing like, wow, I'm eating these beans and I'm getting acid reflux, or I'm tasting it. It's like the next morning I wake up and I can kind of still taste them. It hasn't really digested. Then you know that it's time to move on.
Yes. Oh, great answer. Because people often want to know, like, when is it time to move on? When it doesn't feel good anymore. When you feel, if I ate some beans now, it's not going to be pretty. I don't think it's going to be pretty. Right. Okay, so somebody has a transitioning music playlist. Oh my God, I love that so much. Okay, next question this is an interesting question. Okay, what are your thoughts on the Holy Bible or Christianity? Do you have any specific beliefs or religions? Do you think the mucusless diet connects to the Bible in some ways? Ooh, great question.
So that's how long we got? No. I'll do the abbreviated version. So since we're talking about mucusless diet healing system, I'll put it into that context where Eric, he constantly talks about the Genesis 1:29 and how humanity started off being fruit eaters. And you look at the story, and there's other traditions that have similar stories. There, in mythologies, you can see a lot of stories where some kind of eating and it's allegorical forms of eating, so it's not being specific generally, even it seems more specific in the Bible, but oftentimes eating is the downfall of humanity, some kind of putting something in the body improper is the fall, the great fall of humanity that just leads us on this dramatic journey that we're all find ourselves a part of. You know, in terms of just my beliefs is pretty this kind of unique. It's generally something that I don't talk a lot about because, you know, my evangelism is the mucus diet healing system, because for me, that has to be like, I don't care what you believe in. If you don't have that part together, then you got problems, in my opinion. You know, because whatever you believe in, you can take this information, getting in line with nature and eating the proper diet, and you know, and that's gonna elevate everything, your whole spiritual body, mind, and spirit, as it says. So, you know, I probably won't get too much. I studied, essentially have studied all the major religions of the world, and you know, I was at Theosophy, and you know, I like the comparative study of religions and different mythology, the history of mythologies, and you know, like the Joseph Campbell kind of analysis. I love that. I would recommend people check out. There's as we were talking about, I've been thinking a lot about the history of flood myths, which is one of the only things that all humans have in common, or cultures around the world that we know of, is everybody has a flood myth where their ancestors and their homelands were destroyed by water. That goes across the board, whether you're Aborigines in Australia or Native Americans in North America or whatever. Flood myth is prevalent all over the place, and there's something to that. There's something deep to be looked at with that, you know. And I'm interested in the giants that are talked about in the Bible and elsewhere, other you know, mythologies. So for me, there's a lot that we can gain and begin to really understand from these mythological and spiritual stories and traditions once you start to clean yourself up, because you go back through these texts and these books, and they're totally different. Like the meaning, it's as if you've unlocked a deeper esoteric meaning in these texts once you start to actually go down this path and clean yourself up.
Wow, I've never heard of that. The flood myths. I didn't.
Yeah. The book to check out is Heinberg. He does a nice comparative analysis of a lot of the different. It's called was it Visions of? I gotta look it up. Yeah, but Heinberg's the author.
Wow. You know, I love learning about the truth. Let me tell you, because I mean, it's hidden. It's hidden, guys, but it's out there. It's out there.
Memories and Visions of Paradise. That was, I mean, it's been a while since I read that book, but that's one, and I listed in my book, Spirit Speaks, as something. So it's called Memories and Visions of Paradise, Exploring the Universal Myth of a Lost Golden Age.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Ooh, that's probably a good one. Okay, I'm gonna check that out for sure. Guys, check out all this stuff before it's removed from the internet, from the history books,
right,
or whatever. Okay,
right.
We got some more questions. Next question is, hold on. I see we got another question, but I don't see it in the question comment section. Okay. Well, anyway, narrow is the way, and few there be that find it. Why is it, Professor Spira, that some people can accept and acknowledge and get excited about the truth, and some people get so angry and so offended and just like will never awaken to truths? Why do you think, are we chosen? Are we chosen people? Like, why is it that we are so different as humans when it comes to the truth and being open-minded?
Yeah, well, the short answer is constipation. And not just bowel constipation, but
Knew it.
systemic constipation from
Yes.
head to toe. Because that's it. All these people, when you turn on the TV and you see these folks that are complaining about this and that and crying about this and are being so avidly against. I mean, you got people. I mean, people are taking down my videos like I'm such a danger to society. Uh,
Well, you are.
you know,
Well,
well,
you
yeah, I
are.
guess to their to their
You're a
thing,
danger
but
to
it's
the
like
system. Yeah, to the lies. Yeah, you are.
and I know you've been having. I guess you've been having problems over here. I saw that the IG police or something's been messing with you, and
Oh no. Yeah, I mean all of us. Like the
it's
truth is dangerous, guys. It's dangerous because then you're going to get control of your health and your life and your mind and your gut. And I always say, if I had to recommend anything for anyone, a colonic. So when you said constipation is the reason, yeah, pretty much because how can you possibly think if you're being controlled and you're impacted and you're not even yourself? I wasn't myself until I went
mm,
mucus free, until I went raw, until I got the crap out of me that was controlling my mind. And people talk about the cravings and stuff. Yeah, you are craving it because that's what you are made of. Psycho Michael wants to know, how do you handle a comment from an older relative that people have never complained about before? Wait. Okay, let me read that again. How do you handle a comment from an older relative that, quote, people never complained about name repression before? Oh, okay. Do you get that question?
about name repression. At first, I thought I got it, but then
Explain more,
like
Psycho Michael.
it sounded like that they were saying like that elders. I thought they were going was like that elders say, "Well, I'm such and such age, and I've never watched my diet. And I'm okay."
Yeah.
And but then it sounded like it was doing something else too.
What do you say to the people? Yeah, there's plenty of guys. I just told you, my grandma's 99. She lived to 99 years old. Wow. She's been eating meat her whole life. Is she living a great life right now? Definitely not. And she has money. Imagine if she didn't. You know what I mean? Like she's not living a great life right now. So I'm sure that's what you would say
Yeah,
too, right? Like it's the
yeah,
quality.
quality of life and just looking historically at different peoples that don't live as bad as we live, that's not a rule. That's not automatic that elders have to be decrepit the last 10, 15 years of their life, and that they have to, and that it's not written in stone that people supposedly die in their 60s and their 50s now that we're having people drop dead, athletes dropping dead in their 30s. Something's obviously wrong. And so yeah, and that goes for anybody. I mean, there's elders, but every young people, it's like the same issue where young people that some of them that haven't started to have any illness experiences yet, it's kind of a hard sell. It's like, hey, if you want to stay as young as you can for as long as you can, you might want to check this out. But it can be tough. But I think that the work that we're trying to do by just being public with our lifestyle, sharing this information, helping people, the people that you can reach, and the people that are ready for this information, they're going to plug in. You know.
Yeah. Jim Rohn always said, talk to people that care. Like, talk to people that want your help. There's so many people that want help. Don't waste time on people that don't. Don't waste time. Okay, last two questions, I promise. First of all, people want to know, how old are you, Spira?
So I'm 39. I'll be 40 in December.
Okay, I'm 37, in case anybody wants to know. I'll be 38 in a few months. Last question is, this is a good one. Babies clearly need breast milk or something similar. At what stage in development is the human body able to transition to all fruit? Do you want to talk about that for a minute? Because you said we're an air gas chamber, we're an air gas machine. So why do babies need breast milk, and when can they transition to all fruit?
Well, a lot of that is going to be dependent upon the history of that baby's stomach, the mother, how the mother and the father ate, how their fathers ate generationally. So for most of us in the next couple generations, until we have a few generations that have been transitioning with the mucus diet healing system and really and just cleaning themselves up, have offspring, and then they're raised on the mucusless diet and clean themselves up. Once you get 2 or 3 generations down, then we can start talking about children that will never understand what disease is the way that we have experienced it and the concept of it. And you'll be able to easily transition a child from breast milk, which chemically, the chemical composition of breast milk is way closer to the fruit than cow's milk, just for the people that have no clue what they're talking about. It's going to be a lot easier to transition from the breast milk to the, you start off with the maybe some blended fruit kind of stuff and just transition them into the fruit reality. And what a lot of people, which I know some raw folks don't like, but we talk about for transitional purposes, cooked fruit, something that's very helpful to people because it's less aggressive, and it's something where you can get the benefits of eating fruit, but it not be as aggressive for people that need that. And that's something that it could also be beneficial for certain young people as a part of their transition. But yeah, so we have the tools and the stuff, but now we have to put the time in. Yes. That's the X factor here, is just because you understand that humans are meant to be fruit eaters and you see other people saying that they're doing that and this kind of stuff, that doesn't mean that we're going to be able to just get to that immediately. And it's one of the things with our society, we're so used to this immediate, just like immediately I call up Amazon and I get a package the same day. And, we're bred for this kind of to immediately have a payoff. But with this is an art form. This is going to take a while because we have to transform our body, transition the body, and do so permanently and therapeutically. And it takes a while, but just to put into perspective, trace your stomach back and think about how long ago was it, how far back do you have to go before you get to your fruitarian ancestors.
Oof. I'm scared.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a while. Because a lot of us, because we don't even know. I mean, we know so little about our history, because it's like 10,000 years is nothing. 20,000, and most histories are going back 10 to 14,000 years on just because they don't have anything else of real substance to really understand. We have to rely. That's why we then have to turn to the mythologies and to see if we can get something out of there, because there's a mixture of things that probably happened and things that are, allegorical and kind of stuff. But we have to really go on that pursuit to look back at the history of our stomach to put into perspective why we crave what we're craving, why this is a hard path, because our ancestors chose this path for us a long time ago when they started to break the rules of the earth and of the human species. And so we just have a lot of work to do to come back. But for me, it's the greatest work that we can be doing.
Absolutely. And you know what? We're doing our best, and our best involves transitioning. I truly agree with what you said. When I tried to go from, I went raw vegan overnight, but when I tried to go from high fat, lots of oil, lots of nuts, lots of dehydrated food, when I tried to go straight to fruit, it didn't work. I got so one day I decided I was going to do Banana Island. Okay. And I ate like 4 bananas for a meal, and I got so dizzy. I got so sick because I was eating lots of fat, lots of nuts, lots of oil, lots of salt, lots of dry things. And oh my goodness, I was really scared. I almost left work, and I was just like, very, very dizzy and very concerned. And now I know what happened. I didn't transition. I just thought I could go straight to eating, a fruitarian diet, and it didn't work. Okay, I promise. I'm so sorry, Spirit. I promise this is the last
Oh
question.
no, I'm fine.
Okay, thank you. People have some great questions, and this is my friend Michelle, who I met a few weeks ago at the farmers market. So thank you so much, Michelle, for stopping by my table. Here we go. She needs your advice, Spira. What vegan milk compares to raw goat milk or sheep's milk? She's having trouble with her teeth, and all the experts online say that raw dairy, especially goat and sheep, are great for teeth health. Have you ever had teeth issues, Spira? And what would you say are the best alternatives to that? Sheep's milk.
So I'm just not ever a fan of milk from other animals that's not human. And I just don't believe in the, for me, when I look at the history of how that came about, just the history of humans drinking animal milk in the first place, and the idea that it's nutritious and that kind of stuff. These things have just, they're almost, to me, they're like old wives' tales, where it's like people are just like, oh, you get your protein and you got to do this and drink that. And so my recommendation is to not drink any animal milk. And to, if you really want something like that, then juicing is the best, whether you're juicing fruit, vegetables, having a juice habit, for me is better. Because I've made juices where, green vegetable juices, maybe where I threw a couple carrots in there or something, that tastes like milk to me, like the way that milk used to taste. It had that. So, I mean, if it's a taste thing, you can definitely find it. I know some people that get into, that do make their own coconut milk. You go get the fresh coconut and beat into it, and there's a whole process to blend it and then strain it, and it's a lot of work, but and it's raw. It's like something that I know some folks are into if they're really craving the milk thing. But
she's saying the experts on teeth are recommending raw sheep's and goat's milk to rebuild her teeth. Lord.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, I just don't agree with that. I'll say I believe in naturopathic dentistry. I do recommend, like, I'm not anti, where some people, what about, so, and I've studied that kind of for years. I got into a deep teeth study at one point. And for me, naturopathic dentistry makes sense. Now, I will say I hadn't, with all of the shutdowns and everything, I hadn't been to my dentist in 2 years. And I just went a couple weeks ago, and I get zero decay. And they're always like, they'll take a look and they're like, man, your teeth are, your teeth are nice, because I've had very little work over the years. There was stuff when I was young that I had done, a couple cavities here and there that every once in a while, I thought even, sometimes you got to refill those. They didn't even say that, but I'd had damage to my teeth before starting the diet, because when I was really young, I had these chronic ear infections all the time, and they just continued to throw antibiotics at me like it was candy. And so that actually like messed some of just decolored my teeth and stripped my teeth of natural enamel. So not happy about that. I wish I had known about my parents had known about the diet earlier, where I'd still have enamel, but I know it could be a lot worse. But no, I just don't agree with that. For me, if you want to oil pull or do that kind of thing, just general, keep your mouth clean, and stay away from the pus and mucus forming foods, because it's the acids. And what a lot of people don't realize, you eat the meat, or you drink the dairy, or even like the goat's milk, and I know people try to argue about that, and I'm just like, look, eventually it's going to clog up your system. And when some people that suffer from the jaw getting inflamed, it's like there's lymphatic sections of the lymphatic system that go right through here, and it can get inflamed. All those acids up there irritate the teeth, and if those acids just stay there for an extended period of time, it can do a lot of damage and mess with the nerves, mess with what is doing that? It's acids that's doing that, not alkaline stuff, not the blood. It's those acids from the lymphatic system. And so when I think of any kind of like dairy and all that kind of stuff, they're still coming from that nutrition theories of, you gotta put in a lot of calcium to build calcium and put in the protein to get your protein, and these kind of things that have just been dismantled for so long. And so yeah, that's definitely one that I would not go for that one.
Yeah, thank you for that answer. I know it can be frustrating, Michelle. I know it can be hard to know what to do because there's so many people telling you different things. There's experts out there, there's dentists out there. My dentist told me I was having teeth issues because I was vegan. And if I just ate a steak, everything would be better. And it's like, hey, and she was a holistic dentist. But anyway, we digress.
Yeah.
So I would say, again, just reminding you what Spira, his work is about, which is it's what you don't eat that heals you. And the most important thing is the breath. So everyone that's watching this, you're watching this for a reason. Everyone here needs to hear this. You need to have a breath practice. And maybe that just means every morning for 5 minutes, you focus on your breath and you get in clean, fresh air, as fresh as possible. Go outside, get in some deep breaths, and realize that that is helping your healing because you're supporting your body and you're giving it what it really, really needs. Because, you can go some time without food. You can't go a minute, 2 minutes without a breath and you're dead. So please, you're watching this for a reason. Okay. And so thank you so much, Professor Spira. It was really nice to talk to you. I always love talking to you because I learned so much. And honestly, I just want to say thank you for stepping into your truth and being a truth seeker and spreading it. And even though it's not easy to go against the grain, it's not always easy, but it is funny. It's always, comedic to watch the outside world doing all the things they're doing. And guys,
Right.
if you don't have this book, please pick it up. It will change your life. If you don't have it, I highly recommend this version because this version, Professor Spira makes it into modern day English and makes it more understandable. And there's a whole list of everything he talked about transitioning. If you're like, what is this transition? It's all in the book on how to transition. And it's so easy. It's so easy because you don't have to just go straight to fruit or straight to raw. That's not even the healthiest way to do it, right? Transition, that's key because, you want to do this for life. And it's so, so easy if you know what to do, if you have the tools, right? Spira, because like most people, they don't know what to do. Like they're trying, everyone's trying to lose weight. Everyone's trying to be healthier.
Right.
So thank you so much again, Spira. I appreciate you. Thank you for everything you're doing. And I will talk to you soon. And have a great day.
All right, you too.
Bye.
All right, bye.